This is Echo Beds, and you're listening to the Literati Records podcast.
Welcome to episode 60 of the Literati Records podcast. I'm your host Marcus, and I want to thank you for tuning in, turning on, and supporting independent music. We have a great show on deck for you today with one of Denver's most unique artists, Echo Beds. But before we hear from Tom and Keith, we have a bit of housekeeping to attend to. Bad news for our June cash prize winner, as time is running out to claim their prize. If your email begins Jen Be Sure, that's JenBeshore, send us an email from that account to claim your prize. So maybe you want to win our cash prize for July. Well, just go over to our website at www.literatirecords.com and use the sign-up link on the left side of the page. There are a few contest rules, so be sure to look those over as well. We also encourage you to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter, or just drop us a line to literati@literatirecords.com. And that wraps up the housekeeping for today. As I mentioned before, our guest on the show today is one of Denver's most unique artists, whose roots spring from the same branch as German industrial music. Tom Nelson and Keith Curts, known collectively as Echo Beds, view what they do as performance art as much as they do music, and usually finish a performance physically drained. All of the music on today's show can be found on their Bandcamp page, and a complete track listing is in the show notes on our website at www.literatirecords.com. Now, I give you Echo Beds. I'm down here at Walnut Room with Keith and Tom from Echo Beds. They just played a phenomenal set tonight. Man, it's probably in the top 5 local shows I've seen in a long time. Really great, you guys.
Thank you.
Well, since we opened the show with one of your tracks, people should already kind of have some context for which to process my first question here. Would you consider what you do music, art, therapy, or all of the above?
I think I'd say it's all of the above. It's probably more therapy than anything else.
Yeah.
It's very cathartic.
Well, the basis for your style seems rooted in early German industrial music. Who were some of the artists that inspired you?
There's Neubauten, of course. That record Collapse was when I found that record, and I literally just stumbled on that record, and when I first heard it, it was like nothing I'd ever heard before. Same with PIL, Flowers of Romance. That record gave me an anxiety attack. But it was just so rad. Like, it was just so visceral. And I would say Missing Foundation, definitely. What do you say, Tom?
Anything and everything kind of fits into it. I'm real interested in a lot of avant-garde experimental music. As far as the kind of industrial sound, Godflesh is phenomenal.
Definitely.
And Keith already named a lot of the bigger ones for sure.
It's kind of more of, I would say, like, what we do, it may sort of relate to those other bands, or like someone could sort of say, like, hey, that kind of reminds me of this, and I can totally see that. But I think for us, it's like, it's never like we don't sit together and say, like, we're going to make a part that sounds like Wolf Eyes or something like that. I mean, that's another, like, phenomenal, like, I don't even know, like a noise band or whatever, but they're just, like, I don't know, you just sort of, like, create stuff from what you feel, honestly.
Well, what has been the biggest hurdle in getting your music out to a larger audience?
We're not very accessible, and we're not a bar band. I was talking to Randall about this earlier. Like, we're not a bar band, and we just sort of kind of don't know where to play, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, we play warehouses and art shows and stuff, and I think that fits pretty well. And honestly, it's sort of like this therapeutic conceptual art project or something. We sort of joke at practice about our band, or whatever the hell it is, project, whatever, I don't really know, but I think it's hard to get something so abrasive, like, get people to listen to it, but I think ultimately it's for us. So.
What do you consider the most important piece of equipment in your sound arsenal? 55-gallon drums play a pretty big part.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I would, honestly, I don't know about you, but, like, I would say, like, when we first started, we were trying to figure out, like, how to get these sounds that were in our heads, and, like, it took us, we started, literally, like, started on the ground and, like, started working up and, okay, well, now we need to stand up because we're going to do this or whatever. And so we figured out, finally, through trial and error, and trial by fire, pretty much, contact mics on broken cymbals stacked on top of each other. So I think we just gave away our secret. But I've heard that from a lot of people, like, how do you get that sound? And that's what it is. And it took us fucking, I don't even know, like 3 or 4 months to like figure out how to do it. And so that plays in every one of our songs, in parentheses. So.
Well, earlier today, you guys were live on local college radio station, Radio 1190. Was that kind of like, deserved validation for what you guys do?
I mean, 1190's always been really, like...
Yeah, they've always been real decent to us.
Yeah, totally. And they're pretty progressive in, like, the way that they think and really open to all kinds of different music. But yeah, I mean, there's something to being asked to play on a radio station, and
yeah, for sure, that's a compliment.
Sure, and then and they want to talk to you and find out kind of more about you and more about your art and what you're creating and why, and I thought that was pretty cool.
On your Facebook page, you describe your genre as overdriven tape hiss noise wall landscape.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Which is probably, that's a very accurate description. Who came up with that, and how high were they?
That's Keith.
That's me, guilty. No, I mean that's just what it sounded like to me. It's like
it's very accurate.
I've gotten into building pedals, and so like I use a lot of like weird overdrive pedals that I've built and stuff, fuzz pedals and stuff, and we have tape loops, and it hisses a lot, and and it does sound landscapey, I think too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I thought that was the most accurate way of explaining it.
It's been up there from the start.
Yeah. And then what was I forgot like what I don't know if it's motto or not motto, I don't remember what it's called or whatever, but I just always liked the idea of, I don't know where I kind of like stumbled on it in my brain or whatever, but like accident being the new purpose.
Right.
So that was up there too. But.
Well, how many releases do you guys have available now?
What do we have? We had a bunch of stuff coming out. I think on Bandcamp everything's free.
Or you just have to like put...
You just put in 0.
Yeah.
And you get it downloaded for free. 2, maybe, then a bunch of random things.
Well, we have a tape coming out from a label, and I can't say it right. They're from Montreal, and Broyes Cole or something like that. I don't know.
French.
Yeah. Our friend Martin, and he's a super rad guy, and we played Noise Fest last year, and he saw it, and I gave him a CD, and he was like, "The only problem with this CD is that it's not long enough. Do you want to do a 23-minute cassette with me?" We're like, yeah,
French
cool.
Canadian impression.
Totally, that's what he sounded like.
7-inch split with Trip.
And then we're doing a 7-inch split with our friend Trip Nasty. And
the tape with Jacob.
And then we have a split with our friend Jacob Durat, who does Sterile Garden. And
so in a couple months we should have 5.
Yeah, and then everything else that we've done, we just kind of put out ourselves, and
that's available on
and that's all on Bandcamp. Yeah.
Should all be free.
For fans of your style of music, are there any other local Colorado artists that you recommend? Probably some of the people who played
Definitely.
tonight.
Everybody that played tonight.
Absolutely.
So Pythian Whispers, Kevin Costner, Suicide Pack, Nervous Angel, definitely.
Yeah.
Trip Nasty is somebody that needs to be checked out.
Sterile Garden.
Sterile Garden. I gotta forget people and kick myself. Keith plays in a very good band called Glass Hits, also that should be checked out.
We've played them a couple times on our local Mix Monday show. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm
trying to think of like other. Yeah, I'm kind of blanking.
Bands
there's a new band, Saint Bliss, Chris Weston and Kat Salvaggio, and it's really cool. They played at I work at Lost Lake, and they played there a couple times, and it was really cool, like kind of interesting organic beat loops and vocals with synth and guitar, but really like delving into textures and such.
Yeah. Elk was another band.
And Elk, absolutely.
This can go on all night.
Yeah.
I never stop there.
I don't know. There's definitely, it's kind of funny. There's like a sort of like an underground scene of like industrial noise, whatever you want to call it, kind of bands or projects popping up, and I live under a rock, so I haven't really checked all of it out, but I'm sure there's a lot of really rad art happening.
Sure. Well, one thing that's just not going to come through on an audio podcast like this is how much you guys give to your performance. I mean, it was so obvious at the end that you were drained. You had given like everything you had, and as a member of the audience, I mean, you know, we couldn't have asked for more. And I really encourage everybody who hears this to get out and see you guys live when you do have some shows scheduled.
Cool. Thank you.
It's definitely a show to see.
I think that's just come from like seeing bands through the years and I don't know, kind of trying to give back that feeling that I had, you know, like I've just seen so many incredible bands that just they put everything they had into it, and they're just soaked in sweat and crumpled on the floor, you know, and yeah, I mean, it was less a performance, it was just a direct connection and kind of yeah, like another part of the anatomy or something, you know.
Well, one last question, guys. What track of yours should I close the interview with?
Do we have anything recorded that?
I mean, for me, I think one of the best things that we ever did, my personal opinion, is the X-ray vision, cold precision, which will be on a split with Sterile Garden at some point. It's been in the works for a while, so...
Yeah, that's a good one.
Not out yet, though?
No, not out yet.
Should be soon. Everything's done. We're
And
waiting
I think that...
to dub the tubes.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good take. And it's interesting, it was done on a handheld recorder.
Wow.
Yeah,
All one take.
it all just came, yeah, we played through it once, and then we recorded the second time, and it was just really worked, so.
Well, of your 4 releases, do you have a track off there that I should play?
Probably okay.
That was the newest
It's the
thing that
last
we
thing,
did, the
yeah.
Arsonist Donnelly stuff.
There's that, what, part 1 and part 2?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of, we did a song for a Polish comp. We're big in Poland.
Yeah. One guy in Poland.
What was the name of that? Totalitarian Guillotine. And it's on the 1190 comp that came out, but I really like that a lot too. A close friend that I really respect his art and love him as a person, Zach Bauer, said that it reminded him of Butthole Surfers, which was pretty rad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's something I haven't heard, so.
That's on the Radio 1190 comp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The latest one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, I'll track that down. And
Yeah, cool.
That should be on our Bandcamp too.
Yeah, I'm sure
okay.
it is. We're gonna record with Randall here, the guy who does the sound, and
he's awesome.
we're gonna record the piece that we did tonight. So that will be available in a couple weeks.
Well, Keith and Tom, phenomenal show tonight. I can't thank you enough for taking time. I know, to meet with us and talk with us, as I know you guys are spent.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for
get
coming.
Some sleep.
No, it's awesome. I really appreciate that you support so much of what's going on here in Denver.
Yeah,
This whole city is just exploding with amazing bands, and I really appreciate that you appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah.
has to be a reason.
Suppose
Carl!
Please don't worry. I'm not going into that cavity. That nerve's already dying. A live, freshly cut nerve is infinitely more sensitive.
So, I'll just drill into a healthy tooth until I reach the pulse. Unless, of course, you can tell me that it's safe. Thank you.